You came into this world connected to your guides. What happened to that? And why is it that you never seem to be happy in your life? You've achieved what you desired: a good spouse, a good job, a nice home and car. But you want something more. You had to make sacrifices to accumulate all this stuff. So rather than always being in pursuit of having more, what about making sacrifices to have balance in your life? What about having joy in your life? Are you working so much to have the material things that you don't have time or the peace of mind to be joyful? Do you feel peaceful when you are alone, or is your mind racing about accumulating, maintaining, and paying for all the things you want or have? What about freedom? Do you have the freedom to do the things you like to do, or is all your time wrapped up in maintaining this consumption lifestyle? So while you spend your entire life focused on consumption, what has happened to your health? Has your health taken a blow due to the years of neglect because of your devotion to accumulating stuff? You might ask yourself, do you even have the time, health, and energy to be free and happy? Will I ever find a balance, even in a few of the things I lack? Or will I spend all my time working towards something that's outside of me and outside of my control? What would I have to give up to make room for something else? So far, it seems that you haven't figured it out, and you might even be at a stage where you're thinking, will I ever figure it out? We can tell you that you won't be able to do it alone. You never intended to, which up to this point, you have overlooked your entire life. To start, you must put thinking and priorities in order. You may not even be able to be satisfied enough with material possessions and riches, but there is a way to feel happiness and fulfillment, a meaningful purpose in your life, but you need help to do that. You must take stock in the things you chase that are outside of you, the things you have devoted your life to and think are more important than why you are here. You must rely on our help in order to balance your life in this world. It will take discipline on your part to set aside time each day when you have your meeting with us. It's your most important meeting of the day. This is when we will be able to answer your questions about where you go from here. We will help you with how to ask good questions so fears you have put around you can fall away, allowing the things you really want to be able to come into your life. All you need to do is make the time for it. Summary: you can lead a joyous and fulfilling life. The fears you keep around you about what it would take to change will keep you disconnected and lonely. If you have lost your connection to the oneness of the universe, where we have been waiting to help you, then you will continue to struggle. How it works. This is all about the fact that you came here equipped to live the life you intended, the one you planned with your guides before you were born. It's the relentless uneasiness that informs you that you are out of balance and need to reach out for their help and guidance. However, as long as you are cloaked in fear, your guides cannot reach you. Fear convinces you that you are alone and must fend for yourself. Neither one is true. To harness this continuous source of help and guidance, take 15 minutes a day to meet with your guides. Write in your journal what you thought, felt, and realized in your time together. This is the discipline part of this process. Do this every day, and in just 1 month, you will look back at what you wrote to clearly see your direction and connection to your guides. Again, Facebook viewers, if you want to join us and interact with us today, click on the link right above the video, the Zoom link, to register, and that way you can interact and talk with us and your guides about this topic today, all right? And how you feel about this in your own life and what you need to resolve and get answers from your source-connected guides. All right, Ray.
We're bringing some people in here.
Okay.
You open up your microphones. There's Ann.
Hi,
Hey.
Ann.
Hi, Ann.
Hi.
Glad to have you back.
Hi.
Hi,
Good to be
Kathy.
here.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Turn your microphone up, Kathy. We can't hear you.
Okay.
There
There we
you
go.
go. There
Who do we
she
have over
is.
here? Nancy. Nancy, fix your hair, Nancy. We can see you.
Playing around, Ray.
Yeah. Can you hear us? Okay.
Are you talking to
Yeah.
Nancy?
Nancy, turn your speakers up.
Go like this with your ear. Go like this, so you can't hear. Yeah, can't hear.
Turn your speakers up so we can hear you and you can hear us.
So Nancy, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we can see you, but we can't hear you.
Yeah. Well, she's having a little problem there, right, Ray?
There, say something.
We almost have something there.
Yeah, I think we heard something there. All right, just say something. Nope, can't hear you. Your microphone is not on.
For the camera, right?
For the camera, your camera microphone's not
Right,
on.
right. How long are we going to hang with this, Ray? We hear something going on.
We hear something going on there, but it's
We're not hearing a voice. Speak out.
nope.
No, nothing.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. Kathy, how's your husband doing?
He's doing very well.
Yeah.
Oh, Kathy, wow.
Is he home? Is he
Yeah.
home?
He's home a week ago today.
Uh-huh.
Sunday.
The doctors say they are ecstatic at how well he's doing.
Well, look who he's got by his side.
Thank you.
That means a lot. That means everything, especially when we're in a situation like what he's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the new people, for Nancy, let's explain how this works on Tuesday.
Well, Nancy's been with us long enough tonight where she's seen, I explained it all.
Right.
Right. So
the
what,
theme
okay, the theme, we're working with the theme tonight, and the theme is, right?
theme is you can't do this life alone.
Right.
And that theme comes out on Tuesdays with this morning in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights.
Right.
So every week, I think most of you get Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. So each week on Tuesday morning, the insight comes out, and that's the theme for Tuesday night when we get together.
Right.
So.
And that way you get the feel for what we're going to talk about. In fact, when you read the insight the first time, when you guys get that, whatever it triggered in you, make notes about what that is, and then we can cover it that night, like tonight, all right? So what questions do you guys have around you can't do this life alone, and you weren't meant to? That's the whole point to this. I mean, we come in with our amnesia, and we forget all that, you know? We get here, and everyone has something for us to do and learn and be, and it kind of overpowers our memory, and it was already tender and and vulnerable to us letting it slip away, but when all that pressure was added to it, for sure, it was even harder to keep both worlds going, like I've talked about many times. So let's talk about this. I mean, what questions do we have? Do we have questions?
Anybody have a question? Ann? Kathy?
What it triggered in you guys? What your guides are here to talk with you about this and help you understand what it is. Go ahead. Boy.
Don't everybody speak first.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yes.
Well, I typed you a message saying that I can hear you fine. I'm Nancy Macias.
Well,
I
hi,
worked
Nancy.
at McDonald's. My husband and then I got your book, Linda, and then wrote you, and I've read it twice.
Oh, Nancy. Now, how long ago was it that you wrote?
It was the month you moved to Phoenix. You were there, and Ray was having coffee at McDonald's, and he may remember Nancy and Art.
Nancy and Art.
And where are you guys from?
We live here in Sedona.
In Sedona.
Oh.
Okay.
I sold a lot of books at McDonald's. Tip your camera down just a little bit. We can only see half your face.
Oh, there you go.
And the lighting,
The light's good.
is it good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Such a mess.
And your hair, you've got to look,
I was to go to the pool today, and then it always looks nice after I walk in. The pool was closed.
Well, we're so happy. We're so happy you all came.
Oh, I love you. I love your book. I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
I've been in this field 45 years. I'm 80 years old.
You're 80 years old.
80. Oh,
And
wow.
I've been studying metaphysics 45 years due to wonderful people in my life who
Wow.
taught. So I recognize you.
Oh, yes, you do. Yes.
She's getting, just all of a sudden, within the last month, it's really picked up. She's picked up a
Yeah.
lot more followers from around the world.
Yeah.
I believe it.
It-
You're so really needed. Mhm.
I know. Isn't that a shame? I mean.
That's the
You
bad news.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the world needs, what the world needs now is healing.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
And we hear that song, what the world needs now is love. I mean, you got to heal it before you can even have the
Yes.
capacity to love,
Someone I love more than anyone on earth called me and said they were in an absolute state of despair. And they cried, and 55-year-old, cried and cried and cried and said, I have never known despair like this.
Oh my God.
And they're pulling out of it. They're getting, they'll be okay. But the point is, I said the dark night of the soul.
Right. That when that hits us, you guys, that is not meant to hurt us. Is it, Nancy?
No, oh, absolutely not. This is my husband here in the back, and here is my wonderful friend here, Ed. This is Anthony Rodriguez, and he's a healer.
Hi,
Hi, Anthony.
So happy
And
to
he
have
just happened to drop in, which of course is just
no
happened.
accident.
No accidents.
No accident at all.
I lived in Sedona for 27 years. you guys.
I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, I lived there for 27 years, and then the project, this whole thing turned into a project, and it's just taken off. I had to be near an airport. I had, living
That's
in
right.
Sedona.
That's what, yeah.
The way I described it, Nancy, is I couldn't hide out in Sedona anymore.
I like it.
Something like that. So you guys, did you get Linda's weekly guided
Oh,
insight?
yes, I read it today.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What questions or what insight or comment or whatever do you have around?
Well, do you have it, Ray? You want to read it? Or if it's not there, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I already read it when we opened today.
I'm working to get some people elected. to city council, and I volunteered because I put it out and then Spirit tells me what to do and brings the people to me. And so I'm making 800 phone calls, and I've done about 500. And I just found out 2 hours ago that this woman called me and said she's received 5 phone calls about the same issue I'm calling them about. And I feel, my question is that my ego, that I feel betrayed, that I'm doing all this work, and I made 2,000 phone calls for Bernie Sanders, and my grandson worked on his staff, and then I made 2,000 phone calls for the firemen here who, were in danger of losing their jobs when they had the recall. And I just thought that I'm not being taken seriously, and they are not trusting me. And it really just happened. And so Anthony just showed up, and I was telling him, and he said, well, if you don't trust people, it's because you're not trustworthy. And that's all the insight I have. I'd love to have some insight, because I'm wondering, I've made about 500 phone calls, and I'm wondering if I really want to do more, because I sort of feel betrayed.
You're being tested.
Now say more about the testing. What do you mean?
What Anthony's talking to you about, what he's saying, is it's part of it. It's you're not trusting others, so you're not trusting yourself, type of thing.
Yeah.
You're being tested. You're being put through something that I'm going to let your guides talk to you about it. Okay. Anthony gave you some input. I gave you some input. Now your guides are going to talk to you about this. All right.
Okay.
And we ask the universal channel to do this. This is how we do this.
I know.
You know about this from
yes.
And okay, release the tension around this right now, Nancy. Release it. All right. Breathe out this tension. Let it go. All right. And then your guides, we're going to have your guides come through. But you have to assist us in this and release that tension. And don't have your head wrapped around an outcome about what they're going to tell you or anything like that. Just release it and just let them talk to you. All right.
Okay. I will.
All right. Your spirit guides and angels are here with us now, and they're going to tell you what they see around this. And here they go.
Nancy, we feel that you are experiencing some disappointment. You are disappointed in the people you are trying to get through to, and someone complains. You have a right to feel disappointed, but you don't have to apologize to anyone who could possibly become offended by your phone call. You are doing it for the right reasons. You feel that you are in the right flow of energy that will help. Don't let them make you feel guilty or think you have to apologize for your feelings. That's like apologizing for telling the truth.
So you've got a lesson in this, all right?
Yes.
And this would be the lesson. Don't let them run over you. And the city has a lesson in this too, all right? So you're pushing them. You're giving them a run for their money, all right? And Nancy, one of the big lessons here is not to take any of this personally.
Right.
Thank you. I won't now. I can feel it's lifted. Yes, I know.
And it's what you need to do is you need to write down what happened right today, right here. Date it so that you can get your head around this. Later on, when the city starts putting pressure on you, You can go back and refer back to this moment.
Yes.
You got this guidance, and you can remember it and not and stay true to yourself, no matter what they put you through.
Okay.
And look at the 500 calls you already made. How many of those people were upset when you called them?
Not one. They thanked me.
Okay.
They thank, well, you know, they're all on the party list. They're all Democrats. They're all getting the ballot. I'm just telling them to write down the names because there's no delineation when they get the ballots, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. So I'm just helping them understand who the names are.
Right.
But
and you're going to be more believable the more you can stand up to this in a very cool, calm, and way. All right. And you can stay steady and true.
Yeah.
And you will be amazed what you can do with that energy.
Thank you, because I do fold. I do fold easily under pressure.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
The new Nancy.
All down.
That was the old Nancy.
That's right. You wrote it all down. You did. Did you see that?
Yep.
She wrote it all down. Now,
Oh, yeah.
And Nancy, date that page.
I have already.
Good. Okay. You will not go back to the old Nancy. That person is now, it has resolved its issues. Okay. And move forward. Don't expect it to be easy. Okay. You're messing around with the city of Sedona. They've seen this so many times. I was there for 27 years.
I know. That's why I called you. That's why I thought you're going to understand.
And I had a thriving real estate business there.
I know you did.
Architectural practice and internet business. We brought the first internet. We were the first internet service providers in northern Arizona in 1994.
I remember that was in your book.
Yeah. So I know what the city's about. I never really had any problems with them, but I never pushed them like you either. Okay. I was just running businesses. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
and I don't take the newspaper. I've never been involved with them before. Spirit told me to do this. I went to the breakfast, which I had to rejoin the party. I mean, I haven't been active at all. I just go when Spirit tells me to do something. I know I have to do it. And everything I've done under their guidance has been tremendously successful.
Let's recap. We're just gonna finalize their thoughts to you, your guides.
Yes,
Based
people
on what
reading.
based on what you just said, that's a good place to give you a final message on that. And here they go.
Okay.
From here on out, no matter what anybody says or complains about, you don't have to agree with them or disagree. Just tell them that's an interesting way to look at it. And then they won't know what to say because they can't try to pin you down to agree with them or disagree and then argue. Just let it roll off your back. Don't take it personally. And let them know that you have their best interests at heart.
That's right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, what else do we have, Ray?
Well, we have Kathy and Ann.
You
You guys get triggered with the thing today?
Yeah. Tell us what you want to talk about with your guides regarding today's topic on, what's the name of it again, Ray?
Did she see you?
You can't do this life alone.
Right.
She sees you.
What I want to ask is, I hear my guides telepathically. Telepathically, I hear them. And sometimes I can see things in my mind.
That's right.
But I've never been introduced. I don't know their names. I don't know if that's important. I know they're always there because they're constantly guiding me and talking to me.
Now, is that your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I know their names? Should I have a more intimate relationship with them, or is that
You already do. You already do.
okay?
All right. You're just doubting or not sure if that's what it was, or that kind of thing, right? But we're going to let your guides talk to you about this directly, and here they go. Okay.
Since we are a collective of energies, we don't really have a name. We are a force of intelligent energy that comes and goes to you throughout the day. You don't have to call us any specific name unless you want to make one up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So what's your first name? Ann? No,
This is Kathy.
Kathy. When you feel or sense them around you telepathically, you feel that connection, or you see something from your mind's eye. All right, you can see all kinds of different things, whatever it happens to be. What you need to do is you need to write it down. Write down what you're experiencing. It's between you and your guides. No one's going to see this. Just write it down, date it like Nancy did about her guidance, and just even if it's nothing spectacular, it doesn't feel like life-changing stuff. Whoops.
Did we lose something?
Yeah, there we
Now
go.
you can see.
Okay, life-changing stuff. You just didn't have it in gallery view. Is all. Right. Now you do.
I just didn't have myself logged in.
Oh, okay. Ray's still working out some of these technical parts, you guys. Forgive us. Okay. But that's all real, and it's all happening.
Yes.
And these are the kind of things that we need to. That's why I wrote My Guided Journey. Okay. I wrote this because you guys, the only thing that's been going on, you've had the guidance. It's always been with you, just like it's been with me. You've been missing it. Okay. You didn't know that's what it was when it came through. So just write down what those things are. Like I said in the how it works part of the session today, Linda's weekly guided insight. It's about documenting what's going on so that you can track this stuff, because you're going to find out just how much of this is guidance. It's going to surprise you.
Yes.
Yeah. So
if I have a aha moment, I always write it down. Always.
Oh, that's good, Nancy. Yeah. Or you know what? You'd be less tuned in than you are had you not been doing that. I mean, Kathy, you'd be less tuned in if you hadn't been doing that. And that's what keeps you together. Like with your husband, what he just went through.
Yes.
You were pretty together on this deal.
Yes. This whole experience, when we started, I was kind of in panic mode, and then I got a message from my guides that everything was going to be fine, and just let it all go. And I've had this peace about it, and it's gone remarkably well. The whole thing has gone remarkably well.
Yeah, it's really, and they're always with you, and that's how they work with you. I mean, you don't have to ask them for help. They're there, It's just that you were open to it, and you were able to receive it. So, do you have any questions about that with your husband, about what's going on here?
If you'd asked me that 6 months ago, I would have had 1,000 million questions, but I've grown so much through this, and so has he.
Wow, so has he. Great.
Yeah, it's how I always find quotes through the week.
Yes.
When Kathy mentioned the panic, the franticness,
Mm-hmm.
I saw a quote on franticness. It said,
By the way, I never know what Ray's coming into these sessions with. He amazes me. So you guys, we're all in for a treat.
because we talked about panic and franticness was last week.
It was last week.
Okay.
It was.
So it said, I've experienced many terrible things in my life, a few of which actually happened.
Of you. So what is your point in making
People panic. If they panic and they get frantic about stuff, they're experiencing it, and then it doesn't happen.
Exactly. You're panicking over what might happen instead of what actually is happening.
And then what's interesting about that is when they panic about it could happen, it's almost like it happened.
Yeah.
And the damage it does to us when we let that ourselves go into that is it's just like it happened when it never happened in the first place.
Yes.
Right.
Oh man. So not only did we kid ourselves, but we took ourselves down a couple notches energetically, and that's really damaging, you guys. We got to catch ourselves before we let that roller coaster take us away. Yeah.
So Anne, you're all
Yes.
quiet.
I didn't make it last week, and but I'm working in my journal, and I realized that what Linda said about catching ourselves, and like I have this negative, it's almost like the guides, because it's constantly putting thoughts in my head that remind me of my shortcomings or make me relive that I'm in this situation because of somebody else, or just general negative thinking. And I finally said, you know what, I'm not going to process those thoughts anymore. Those aren't my thoughts. That's coming from something that's trying to block me from being connected to my guide.
Perfect.
And so when I catch myself now, it's almost like I've walked through another gateway and put that behind me. And I used to say an angel is someone or a being who has found the right and best way to do something, and they would never do it any lesser way. So, you reach a level of intelligence where you just know better, and you don't go back to a way that you know doesn't work. And that's taken some work to get myself to where I can say, oh, I don't need to even go through that motion anymore. I know better than to let that happen. That was a lot of work, though. It came from writing it down and, making the notes.
And that's why it's working, because what you're doing is you're taking some time out of your day, and you're like that 15 minutes that we talked about in this session today, where you take that 15 minutes every time you do that, and all of you, and you write, and you spend that 15 minutes writing in your journal about whatever it is that you need to talk about. Who are you talking to? You're talking to your guides, all right? This is the time you spend with them, that 15 minutes, all right? And you've got it documented in your journal. This will heal your life. This will. You guys keep this going, and you do this every day for 15 minutes, and keep your journal together and keep it in chronological order and date each page. At the end of 1 month, like I said, in how it works part of this insight today, you go back and you look 30 days back and you review what you wrote. What Anne's realizing right now will become, it's clarity is what it is. And you feel sure about yourself for the first time in a long time. You feel all kinds of things that are positive. Imagine that, okay? It's amazing. And people, I've had people say to me, they've come to me and they've said, it's like I don't want to know too much about myself because I may not like it, And the only part of them not liking it is the part that had to do with their early life, where they made rash decisions before they were equipped to make them. And then those decisions followed them throughout their life, and they kept going, but why isn't my life working? I mean, why do I keep picking the same people? I keep putting up with the same kind of job, or, I keep shortchanging myself. That's why I wrote this, My Guided Journey. I wrote it so you guys could go back, part 2, taking the journey, all right? You can go back. And with each one of those, they're going to be chapters. We're going to have this published by September. Each one of those, it will be chapters in part 2. We did a video on each one of those so you guys could really make the connection, get your head around it the right way, get in the right mindset. So when you go back and visit that early time in your life, you don't come from emotion. You don't come from being a victim. You don't go back to that moment where it was gut-wrenching. You don't do that. You look at it from this higher self that you are, and you observe it for what happened, and you document as you write down what happened at that time of your life in the journal, all right? And that's where you flush this stuff out so that you can see where it came from, and it no longer has power over you. It's life-changing. And I got to say this. You know how I learned this? How I actually learned how to do this writing part? I started when I was about 7, 8 years old when I started journaling to myself because I really needed answers. And I was experiencing so many things that nobody in this world in the 50s could help me with any of that, or I knew better than to even bring it up. So I started journaling, and I realized who I was talking to here, and getting my answers while I was asking the questions, and the answers and the questions, they just started showing up. So that's how I learned this. And then when I wrote my true life story, it just all showed up. I'm going, oh, how could I can't imagine I would have ever wrote the book or wrote about any of this. But it was something they told me 20 years before I wrote this book I was going to do. They said, you're going to write a book about your relationship with us, my guys, since you were a little girl. And the photograph on the front cover of the book that I took in 1994 at Christmas time, and they said, this is when they told me this 20 years ago. They said, or 20 years before it was published, they said, we appeared so the world could believe. And they had the whole thing mapped out, and that's true with every one of you, all right? Mm-hmm. And that's why you found me, by the way, you guys. And that's why you're working in this. I know you all are. And it's gonna bring results way, way, way more than you ever expected. It's gonna clear things up. And you're gonna be living the life you intended before you got here. Not this life that you found yourself in where you got knocked around and pushed around and convinced that you weren't enough or whatever. That's all not true.
That's good. The writing is what starts it all.
It does.
Because until you can put down your feelings, your thoughts, your knowings, and write them down and look at them, you can't study them.
You can't see it.
Because you go back and you think, oh, well, I think I remember how it was, but you don't.
Right. So
you ready for some more of my research and homework?
I'm ready for it.
Okay, so when I saw the
45 years.
The title for You Can't Do This Life Alone, I started thinking about what makes people think they can do it alone, or what makes people think they can't do it alone. Okay?
Yeah.
One side or the other. So I went back and I found some statistics that I thought were interesting. Now, a lot of us remember the 50s. Most of us remember the 50s. In the 1950s, 22% of the people in America, the adults, 22% of American adults were single. 22%. And only 4 million of them lived alone. Now, more than 50% of American adults are single, and almost 35 million live alone.
Wow.
So it went from 22% to over 50%, 4 million living alone, to over 35 million living alone. In the U.S., over 30% of all households only have one person as a dweller.
Wow, 30%.
30% of all the households in America only have one person. Most of the solo dwellers in the U.S. are primarily women. About 20 million of the 35 million are women compared to 15 million men. Most are middle-aged, 35 to 65. And in the 50s, 500,000 young adults, 18 to 35, lived alone. 500,000 lived alone. Now there's over 10 million.
In that same demographic?
Same demographic, live alone.
Wow.
So in the 50s, there was only 500,000 young adults living alone. Now there's over 10 million. Now,
Well, can I say something, Ray?
sure.
I learned there's a lot about living alone that's, not great. But for a time when I was living alone, I said to my friends, well, when the phone rings, I know it's for me. When I need to use the bathroom, it's available. And when I put a bottle of wine in the refrigerator, it's going to be there when I go to drink it.
There you go. That's
I can't believe it.
So it has
well. Those are more grounded observations on your part. Now I read a New Age article, okay, and they said this is all about people who live alone from the New Age perspective. There's people out there who think that people who are isolated, which we're not saying alone. Alone is a kind of a choice that you make. It's a state of being.
Right.
And
it's not that you're lonely. It's
right.
that,
It's not that you're lonely. Lonely makes you feel like nobody cares about you.
right.
Isolated is a better word. You're alone. You're isolated. Okay. They said people who are isolated are having the best life possible, and claimed the following reasons about living alone, why they're living the best life. They have all this more time for self-discovery.
True. That's true.
It relieves the outside world pressures, like your job and your kids and your family, relieves the pressures of the outside world. Allows you to return to your creative roots.
Mm-hmm.
Relieves you from responsibilities. Helps you create your inner balance. Helps you create deeper people connections. Now, I have a problem with that one. Helps you appreciate others more because you're not around them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, are you finished with those thoughts?
I'm
Okay.
finished with the positives.
Okay, so I see it like, there are more, what's the last two, the last three?
Helps them create an inner balance, helps them create deeper people connections,
Right.
helps them
Right.
appreciate other people
Okay,
more.
here's why I think that you have a problem with that, but I can see the logic in that, is I work alone. I really am a loner, all right, you guys? But I work all the time. So I'm working with my fan base, I'm working with email and social media and, writing more. I'm busy, all right? I have a lot to do. The videos, all the stuff that Ray and I do this all by ourselves. We don't have a big production company behind us doing all this. I actually figured it all out, how to get all this to work together, all right? And that took a lot of work and a lot of focus and a lot of, figuring things out and, that could work better and I'm going to try this and I'm going to, all this kind of stuff, right? So I find that when I'm with people like with all of you, like when I'm with people like in a live event or I'm in the public in a live situation, I am much better than I ever was when I was around people all the time, all right? I have like that time to catch my breath, to do my good work, to do my best stuff and deliver that, and they get to see what that is and they like that. And then when I meet with them and, have this kind of time with them, it's better. It's better for me. If it's not good for you, it's not going to be good for anybody else. So there's all this time Ray talked about in this research where you have time to recover. You have time to, relax with yourself and be at peace with yourself while you're doing. It's not like I go to a job where everybody's in conflict and everyone's backbiting each other, and there's none of that, Ray and I work together. It's awesome. And we get a lot done. We get really a lot done. So that's why I feel that way about that?
I saw some positive points in there, like especially the part about being away from people allow you to get back to your creative roots.
Absolutely.
You know, you start painting again, or you start playing the piano again.
Or writing.
Or writing. There you go. Who would have known you'd be a writer?
I know.
You know?
It's true.
You reinvent yourself. What? You've reinvented yourself a lot of times. Okay, now from the other side of the fence, this is what I see. Now I'm not saying it's any of us here, but these are people I know. Okay?
You know these people?
Well, I knew them. Some of them are gone now, but these are people that I knew who were isolated or are still isolated and lack physical contact with the outside world.
So this is the negative side of what that demographic and all the research has. Okay, go ahead.
The isolation. This is the negative side of the isolation.
Isolation.
Okay?
Right.
They become weird. They become eccentric. They become intolerant of others.
Right.
They don't get along better with others.
Right.
They don't appreciate others better. They become intolerant.
Right.
They become selfish, self-centered. They overthink everything. They have nobody to talk to about anything. They overthink all their decisions, all right? They're poor decision makers on top of it.
They would be under those
Exactly. They have nobody to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
They become reclusive, antisocial. They don't like to go out, even if they have an invitation to go to a party or go somewhere. They won't go. They tend to reinforce their own thinking that they can do things alone, and as a result, they get hurt more often. They think they can take on some kind of project by themselves, and it's probably a 2-person or 3-person project, like fixing something in the house. But they think they can do it on their own, and they get hurt. People like that get hurt more often. They fall off ladders. They fall off the roof. They fall,
Right.
Something.
Physically. Yeah. That's interesting.
And one final thing, they have a lot of cats.
That's a joke. Is he joking with us, you guys?
The people they talk to.
Did he say cat?
Cats, yeah. They have a lot of cats.
The crazy cat lady,
Yeah. Well, hey, I've had a lot of cats, but I had a reason I had a lot of cats. Again.
So anyway, what is? They really do have a lot of cats?
Well, yeah. Well, they have a lot of dogs. They have,
Oh, so they replace people with their pets.
Right. That's why I had 10 cats at a time. The 2-legged animals weren't giving me enough appreciation.
True.
And these people who like isolated, the 2 people they talk to the most, Siri and Alexa.
Somebody who won't argue with them, Yeah. Oh boy, I don't know. So you guys, what else do we have from you guys that you want to talk about regarding today's insight about, what's the name of the insight again?
Trying to do it alone. Think you can do it alone.
Do you guys realize that you're not doing this alone?
Definitely.
Yes, I know.
You're never alone. The fact that Ann said that she's talking to somebody
Right. And
proves that there's somebody else there.
And Nancy knows that he's not.
Right.
Well, Anthony just dropped in, and I had, he just moved here from LA, and we know him from coming here and being friends with our niece in LA. But he now has moved here, and so I said stop in anytime, so he just stopped in, which is no accident, because I was telling him my dilemma because it just happened, where I felt this rejection. But I don't feel that way now.
Right.
Because I'll just keep doing. The only question I have is, how much do I let the person who is running for office, who gave me the list and had, once is encouraging me, I'm thinking I'm the only person doing it. And do I let him know that I know other people are doing the same thing as me?
Let's let the guys answer that.
Well, he already knows, so there shouldn't be any harm that you would know, or you would find out.
Do you realize that?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Did you realize that?
Now I do. Sure. We all know. I know that. I just forget it sometimes. We're all telepathic.
Right.
in a smaller town too, I mean, you're liable to trip over somebody else calling the same person. It's a small town.
That's right. This woman said I called her twice. I said, well, maybe I did. I said I might have gotten a busy signal. But anyhow, it isn't about the phone call. It's the fact that I felt I'm making my, I told you I did all these calls for other people, and I just, and he feels appreciation. There's no lack of appreciation. It's just, why would they duplicate what I'm doing when it's like they didn't trust I would complete the job, which I will, because I always do. And I'm not known to them. And yet I think,
they're just getting to know you, Nancy.
Yeah,
Or is it paying you, or is it volunteer?
Are they paying you, or are you a volunteer?
I'm the persistent volunteer.
See, they have an expectation of a certain level of performance from a volunteer, but they know they can't expect, as if it was your job. So maybe it's really just they distributed the list just to cover their bases because they really didn't expect that much from you.
That's exactly right. That's right. And so is it ego for me? Is it really my ego to expect them or to say something? Or, I just think I have to let go of it. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of doing, and just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, and it does make sense. Kathy, right? What Kathy?
Nancy, I'm Nancy.
Nancy,
What Kathy said. Kathy said,
Kathy.
That makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They underestimate you.
It was Ann. It was Ann that said that.
So Ann said that.
yes,
Guess what? It hasn't. It's happened before.
you're doing too good of a job.
It's just that they don't know you yet, Nancy. They don't know.
I know. Well, look at me. I'm 80 years old. I don't look 80. I have a PhD, by the way. No one thought I would ever get a PhD. No one believes I have a PhD. I taught at Penn State. No one, I'm not taken seriously. And I really have struggled with how much of this is ego and how much should I just be in the world and let people think what they want to think.
Nancy, I have to say this to you, and you know this from reading guided. It was probably, and has been throughout my life, my best advantage that I ever had is that people always underestimated me. Always.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, they always, and while they were busy underestimating me, just kind of laughing a little bit, thinking, well, isn't she cute, And they really didn't get what I was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you do I didn't know that.
I know what it is, but here's how I used my time. Well, I saw them, and I knew what they were doing. I knew they underestimated me. It's not that they didn't like me. They liked me. They just, they didn't take me seriously at all. And the things that I've done in my life is like, they totally didn't see that coming. Even my family didn't see it coming.
My family doesn't see it. I get that. It's amazing.
And the one word I use to describe my entire family, the one I was born into.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I have to qualify it like that because it's not all the other people. It's
not
just
the one you have now.
It's none of them. I'm just saying that I'm going to lose my train of thought on this.
One word.
Yeah, is that the one word to describe them is that they were insulted.
Mm. Without meaning to be.
No, they were absolutely insulted by what I went out and did in my life and how I was able to pull all this off. They sat back and they thought, well, she doesn't deserve that. She doesn't deserve that. We didn't teach her that. She's not supposed to be able to do that.
You are so right on. I've never had anyone say that to me, and it is just, there's nothing hardly anymore you can say. I never use that word with what I experience from them, but that is it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. I'll send a check today just for that.
Insulting. Now, could you imagine insulting somebody because you did something?
It never would occur me. Never would occur to me. I'm thrilled for all my family and friends. I've already been bragging about my grandson to you, working for Bernie Sanders for a year. That's an incredible accomplishment. And yet, you know. Yeah.
So what you have to be, Nancy, is you have to be really having a lot of fun. This is how I learned this, all right?
Okay.
What I did is, in my life, everything I've always done, I've done it because I've had so much fun at it. Ask Ray. We've been now together for 14 years. I wake up every morning, flying out of bed, just going, oh my God, I cannot wait to go out and try this and do that. And, you know, I've got all these projects I'm working on. And, right? Ray, just sometimes he sits back and he goes, where in the hell do you get all this energy? Where does this come from? I mean,
We eat the same stuff.
And not once has he ever been insulted by your.
Never.
No. I mean,
no.
her family did their best to beat the spirit out of her every day of her life.
As a kid, you know. But for some reason, what's really funny about it is people would always say to me as a kid, or even as I got older, they'd say, you know, Linda, you don't get it. And I know. I see that. I'm beginning, as I look at what's going on around me in the world, the way that it's being done, I see that I don't get it, but I don't have time, you know, because I'm too busy doing this stuff and I'm having so much fun at doing it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say is just have a blast. Have so much fun what you do.
Right. And laugh and say, I'm being silly. It's fun being silly. I love to be silly.
Yes, it is. That's who you are, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
So you got to be who you are. You got to be who you are with everything you have. It's called honoring yourself.
Yes.
And when people say to me, they go, well, Linda, do you think that what I need to do first is love myself? I always tell them, no. You can't love yourself. You don't know how to love yourself. You have to go out and do something that you love, okay? And then the byproduct of that is loving yourself.
I like that. That's very deep.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
Yeah, it's just the truth.
Thank you, Linda. Really.
This is why, this goes back to my book.
I will.
I wrote about it all in my book, and I didn't realize that when I told the story, this book has taken off around the world. How could I have known that would happen, you know? So many people were hungry for this information because they've been given the wrong information. That's all I can say.
And then they made decisions with wrong information.
And they wonder why their life doesn't work. Well, yeah, you know, thank God you've identified the problem.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, now you can say, okay, I got this thing. I get what's going on. Okay, I'm going to pull that off the table because I know after all this time that this doesn't work. I'm just going to go about doing my life and just enjoy the ride and do it all the way. And even if I mess up, even if sometimes I don't hit it right, it could have been timing. My timing was off or whatever. I'm still not going to miss my life. I came here to live this life, you know?
I agree. And I've pretty much done that. This just happened today, and it was a reminder of what it had been in the past and how I sometimes succumb to it. And I'm not going to do that with this. Not at all.
No. See it through. Let the city learn their lesson. They've got a lesson in this too. Mm-hmm. And whoever else is out there needing to learn something, you just enjoy the ride. Enjoy what you're doing. And, you know, in spite of everything going on and all the, I know that what you're in, it's not just about you. You've got a whole host of people involved in this thing that play their little part out, you know, and there's going to be a lot of funny stuff going on. You just have to put it in proper context and just look at it for what it is. And just,
that's why I say
it's entertainment, Nancy. This is to entertain you. And how well can you stay in your power? Oh, you can stay in your power all day long if you look at it like that.
Yeah. Oh, you were right on.
And you know what? In the end, you're going to make a lot of friends because they're going to go, you know, you had the right attitude about that. How'd you do that?
Yeah. That's true. Oh, thank you both. Well,
you're welcome. So where are we with this whole thing?
Well, I don't know if nobody else has any questions, comments.
They're doing. That's
tell
because
about what's going on next week.
And you know, you guys, Kathy, Ann. Who else do we have here?
Nancy.
We have all, you guys are working your magic. You're working with your journal. You're doing your work. You're not in pain anymore. You're seeing it. Okay. Now your life is going to start making a lot of sense. All right. A lot more sense than it ever has before. You're going to look back at your life and go, I didn't really need to go through that. I see, I see now how I can resolve these things. Anytime we go to start doing the journaling, the one thing that you have to get under control before you start doing it is a lot of times you go to your journal, you start writing, you're in panic mode, right? Something just happened. Something just went wrong in your life. And you're in panic mode. It doesn't matter what it is. This is your friend. This is your best friend.
Right.
When you write in here, who you're writing to is you're writing to your guides. Mm-hmm. You're writing to that part of you that knows you better than you know yourself. And that's why what you write in there starts making some sense. Mm-hmm. Nobody else can give you this advice. You can't go to a psychiatrist or a psychic or anybody like you can when you start doing this journaling and start communicating with your own source guides and your higher self and this wiser, smarter, more intelligent part of ourselves, right? So that's what comes out of it. It's way good. I don't even. There's no one better than writing in your journal. I
agree.
Okay. So next week, Tuesday, next week, July 24th, watch or interact with us right here on Zoom. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, you will receive the link to join me, as well as in the event that we post on Facebook on the page, Linda Deir Author. Talk to your guides, to us, and to the group. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. To be published next Tuesday morning in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. The guides will be talking about your path to consciousness and awakening. Why don't people see themselves progressing on their path to consciousness and awakening? This has to do with how you are measuring yourself and your progress. When you start, what do you expect to happen right away, or in a week, a month, or in a year? Do you have a picture in your mind of what this different person is supposed to look like and be like? How will this person be different? So that's what we're going to be talking about next week.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you guys.
That's a good one.
Feedback on that from you guys.
Thank you. We'll be back.
All right.
Me too. So guys, final comments on?
And the guides are going to close tonight's session with their closing message to all of you about.
Almost forgot. You can't do this life alone.
And what a relief, you guys. You know, we're not in this alone. We weren't just dropped off here to fend for ourselves. That's a big relief. And here they go.
It's the isolation that reinforces the belief that you can do it alone. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do, what to think, or that I'm doing it wrong. If you keep up with this attitude over the years, you will find yourself drowning in bad ideas and decisions that are not thought through. The internet was designed to unite us, but it doesn't. It makes you less social, not more social. It's not social media. It's anti-social media. The mainstream media tells you how to think, and what to believe. Then the internet uses it to polarize people against each other. Polarized social, political, religious groups, all at each other's throats. The result is that everyone becomes more disconnected from us and the world. The stubborn beliefs you instill in yourself are the most questionable and stunt your spiritual growth. These beliefs only do one thing. They identify your limitations and the boundaries of your thinking. You must reconnect with us so you can change your beliefs and then change your life.
Stuff.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Ray, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a comment from a Kathy Ozdicer in the comment.
Oh, let's see.
Hold on.
No, I didn't see it. Oh, that's on the, is that in the Facebook comment?
No, it's on the Zoom in the chat.
On the chat.
Oh, there it
Oh,
is.
it's in the chat.
No, we can't hear her. No, she's not on this panel. I can't hear her.
Well, did she wrote something, right?
She didn't.
Mhm.
Just says I have a question, but
Yeah,
she didn't.
she can't hear us. That was the question.
Oh, she can't hear us. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hear us and see us.
Oh,
And we
okay.
can't see her.
Okay. Oh,
Right.
sometimes that happens. So what do you think that was from, Ray?
I didn't see her come in all the while we were on
Oh,
through
She
Zoom.
says next week then.
Next
Okay.
week.
what happened is she probably got caught up in the registration part of it, Kathy?
Maybe she can. She's able to write into the chat, but I don't see her on my screen either.
Yeah. I can't bring her on.
Is she in the Q&A? Did she have it? Something?
Well, she wrote something, but she's not on with us.
Oh, I see, Ray.
So I don't know how that happened.
How could she?
Oh, there she says she's here and she can see you. She just
She can see us?
chatted in. Well, she says she's here and can see you on the chat.
Let's see. There she is. There she popped up.
She didn't pop up before.
No, she didn't pop up on our screen here before.
Oh, okay. Well, darn it. See if you can't bring her through. If you can bring her on, then she'll know how to, that it actually worked, Ray. So next week, she can join us.
Yeah, we'll bring her up. She's been here before.
Oh, she has? Okay,
Yeah.
good. You guys.
There
Oh,
she
there
is.
she is.
All right. Yeah,
Kathy,
here she is.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
better late
Yeah.
than never, huh?
There she is.
I've been here for like the past 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, honey. Oh.
when somebody comes in, I get a little notice down here, and I didn't get one.
Okay.
It's okay.
I
I've
have
been
to go. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye,
We'll
Nancy.
see you next time.
We'll see you guys next time.
You bet. You bet.
Week. All right?
Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
Okay, you
Hey,
guys.
while you're making all those calls, to all those people in Sedona,
Yeah.
tell them about Guided, okay?
Okay.
All right, you guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay. So we'll see everybody next week, okay?
All right.
Hopefully.
Bye.
Bye, Kathy.
okay. You guys have a good week. Enjoy the heat.
You.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.